Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by the My TV Choice app. Get rid of commercials during March Madness by downloading the app today at mytvchoice.com, available on iPhone and on Android. We'll kick things off with the only thing we possibly could, the latest on DeMarcus Lawrence. The report from The Athletic explains why the two sides allegedly are still far apart on a contract. Now, the Cowboys have offered DeMarcus Lawrence, per the report, $20 million. Lawrence now wants $22.5 million. Now, I'm sure there are more details in terms of the differences there because that's only a $2.5 million difference. And part of the reason why the two sides aren't exactly getting along is that the report says that Lawrence only wanted $20 million to start, and the Cowboys said no to that asking price. And when Dallas finally said, actually, okay, we'll do $20 million per year, Lawrence and his agent bumped it up to $22.5. Now, a couple of things here, assuming these are true. Number one, if Tank only opened at $20 million, what are the Cowboys doing? That's less than his franchise tag amount this year. You should have jumped all over that offer. And if he did bump it to $22.5, it's not exactly the best way to go about negotiating. Normally, you're not supposed to keep upping your offer as teams and players counter offer. So let's assume it is at $22.5 million. Would you pay DeMarcus Lawrence that amount per year? Type Y for yes and type N for no. For me, it's a yes. It's really not that far off than what I had originally projected for DeMarcus Lawrence, and you can get caught up in terms of the overall per year numbers, and it is pretty high. But the percentage of the cap is still a very important factor in this thing. So I originally had a 5-year, $104 million deal for Tank. Now, they said it was $6,120, which it's still pretty accurate. It's about 11.05% of the cap. The Cowboys coming in a little bit below that, 10.62%. Look, if this, by the way, was the offer that Tank wanted at the beginning, I don't know what the hell the Cowboys were doing. You should have jumped all over that offer at just $20 million per year. Lawrence, meanwhile, wants 11.96% of that cap. I assume it's a 6-year deal, just so I increase the numbers overall to keep it consistent there with that $22.5 million. And in terms of the percentage of the cap, look, if you're trying to get to the Khalil Mack number, which I thought Tank could have legitimately argued for, he's not asking for that reportedly. He's asking for less than that amount of money. So from that perspective, I still think 22.5 is the way to go. Yeah, it's still a big figure. Remember, in 3 years, it's actually not going to be that high because other edge rushers are going to get paid in a big way. Now, we'll break down more here, but first, today's show is brought to you guys by the My TV Choice app. Get rid of commercials during March Madness. Instead, get yourself some chat sports content from the app. And oh, by the way, if you download the app and sign up, we'll give you guys some $50 Amazon gift cards. Enter to win. We got quite a few of them, so your odds are pretty good there. And if you DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, once you guys sign up, we'll get you a second entry into the chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. And that's the My TV Choice app at mytvchoice.com. Now, back to Lawrence, and remember, the number comes in around 11% of the cap, so a little bit higher than OLIVIER Vernon's deal from several years ago. That doesn't surprise me. DeMarcus Lawrence is better. Khalil Mack, it's still below that number. If you were DeMarcus Lawrence, you could have made an argument, it's not one I would have liked, that you should have been paid more than Khalil Mack based on the last 2 years because Khalil Mack's has been outplayed by DeMarcus Lawrence the past 2 years. Von Miller, meanwhile, I know the average per year number is lower than Tank's asking price, but remember when that deal was signed, it was 12.25% of the cap. Tank's still coming in less than that. He's right alongside, even on the high end, with a guy like Justin Houston. Now, that deal ended up not really working out in the long run for Kansas City. And then, of course, it's still above the Chandler Jones number, and it's above the Trey Flowers number because, of course, it is. He's more deserving. And here's really the biggest problem I have with the way the Cowboys have handled the entire DeMarcus Lawrence situation. You came into the offseason making it very clear, hey, DeMarcus Lawrence, he is our number one guy. We're going to get him done. And your offseason moves so far have been to add Kerry Hyder. Okay, that's cool. Maybe go trade for Robert Quinn. You lost Randy Gregory. I know 2016 wasn't good for Lawrence, in part because of a pretty lingering back issue, and some are concerned about the shoulder, which I understand, but all kinds of guys have torn labrums. Look, Tank's played through it the past 2 years, and he's put up incredible numbers in that time frame. The only two players that have had more hurries and pressures over the past 2 years than DeMarcus Lawrence are the two guys you would expect, Von Miller and KHALIL Mack, when it comes to edge rushers. That's kind of a no-brainer to pay that guy the big money he's asking for. So describe how you guys feel about Tank's contract situation. Let me know in the comment section. I can sum it up in one word. I'm frustrated. Both parties bear some responsibility here. The Cowboys shouldn't have been lowballing Tank with an under $20 million offer at the beginning, assuming that Athletic Report is true. Tank shouldn't have upped his demands afterward. In the end, just get together. You are separated by $2.5 million per year. That's not very much. If the Cowboys botch this and they don't retain DeMarcus Lawrence, I'm going to be livid. We are going to riot in Dallas. Because if you lose DeMarcus Lawrence, you have no idea if Randy Gregory is going to be able to go for the Cowboys. Tyrone Crawford got himself in legal trouble now too. Kerry Hyder, Taco Charlton, Dorrance Armstrong. You want to bank on those guys being the player that draws double teams and still gets 10 sacks a game? I certainly don't want to. The Cowboys offseason has been mostly operated with the assumption we're going to sign DeMarcus Lawrence. So if they don't sign DeMarcus Lawrence, your offseason's a failure. Unless you do something really crazy and get another impact edge guy, or at least a pressure guy even on the interior, it's a failure. You're separated by $2.5 million. Just get the damn thing done. It shouldn't be this difficult. I don't know why the Cowboys lowballed to start. I get you're trying to save money. You know what Tank's worth. You saw Randy Gregory get suspended. You saw Trey Flowers get paid, and Lawrence, by the way, has well outperformed Trey Flowers in the past couple years. Just simply pay the guy. Now, there's even been buzz on social media about rescinding the franchise tag for DeMarcus Lawrence. What kind of stupid idea is this? That's like the worst possible outcome. Look, if you can make an argument to me about trading DeMarcus Lawrence, and if you're really not going to pay him what he's worth, A, I disagree, but B, go get some value. Surely there's someone who wants to give up a little bit more. The Colts have 2 second-round picks. At minimum, you should be able to get that from them, right? The worst possible outcome here is that DeMarcus Lawrence, the franchise tag is rescinded. We do the whole Josh Norman thing. We lose our top defensive player overall, and the defense sucks without DeMarcus Lawrence. You're trying to win games right now, right? That involves DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't see any scenario in which the 2019 Cowboys are better on the field if DeMarcus Lawrence isn't playing, even factoring in what kind of top-end compensation you could get. I don't see a scenario in which that happens. I really don't. And I know there are injury concerns with Tank. It's still a no-brainer for me. Go pay the guy big-time money. I think he's proven time and time again that he's worth it. All right, so we'll keep moving here along with some other discussions around DeMarcus Lawrence and what that means for the Cowboys going forward. We mentioned how I would be very upset if he lost. Now, again, you can bring up some arguments, and I'm sure some commenters will, about you can save the money there. Here's the thing. If the Cowboys' plan was to really, really lowball DeMarcus Lawrence, they should have gone after a different edge rusher. They should have done, in reality, what they did with Dez Bryant, or at least tried to do, when they pursued Sammy Watkins and it didn't work out. The Cowboys didn't pursue any of those other edge rushers this offseason. Instead, they just kind of hung around and said, oh, we'll sign Kerry Hyder, a move I like in a bubble. We'll sign Christian Covington. I like that one as well. There's trade interest in Robert Quinn. But Robert Quinn is a secondary pass rusher at this point in his NFL career. He's supposed to be the guy that plays on defensive end across from DeMarcus Lawrence. If you're trying to build your pass rush around Crawford and Quinn and Taco Charlton and a second-round pick, it's not going to go well for you. So I remain of the mindset, and in the end, I do still think this deal gets done, but I remain of the mindset that the Cowboys should simply pay DeMarcus Lawrence. You can make a decent argument about a trade and come back to me again in 2.5 weeks, and we'll see where things sit. But I firmly believe if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you better go pay DeMarcus Lawrence because we want to win next year, right? It's going to be a lot harder to win without Tank on the Cowboys in 2019. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.